speaking of a team that has worse quarterbacks, are we how we're feeling about Atlanta's ability to compete with Tampa Bay for the NFC South? Not in it, not feeling it. Dude, the vibes around the Falcons got so bad so fast.
Every video I've seen since the first round of the draft of like them speaking in public, they said something worse than the last like video I watched. And dude, like I love like Raheem Morris. I thought that was a badass hire. I remember when the Jags, fired Doug Marrone and they were looking at general managers. I think Terry Fontenot, came like third or maybe even second for that job. So I looked at him, like his background a little bit. I was like, this guy seems like knows what he's doing. And then there's no way I think you can rationalize it away. You know that at some point this year, Kirk's going to miss a game and Penix is going to have to play earlier than he should, and it's probably not going to go good at all.
So the more you look at the offseason, they made one stride getting Kirk. After that, they didn't do anything really. Like you got Darnell Mooney, and then you drafted the 8th pick's not going to play. Your 2nd round pick, Rook from Clemson, he's not really ready to go either. The defense like needed a pretty serious boost in personnel this offseason. And they lost Ryan Nielsen to Jacksonville, hired Jimmy Lake from Washington.
Yeah, going from Nielsen to Lake is crazy.
Might be a pretty significant drop off. And they needed to add talent to the defense anyway, because so much of last year was like Nielsen was good, but they also played a ton of terrible offenses that were, where they were able to pummel up on them and perform well in that manner. But I just don't think that I don't think that they can do it. Maybe this is just me being too pessimistic on what they did this offseason, but after the Penix pick, I just don't really know how they can do this.
If they had drafted like a cornerback or a pass rusher with the 8th pick, or even like Roman Dunze, I'd be like saying like they're probably like one of the like 4 or 5 best teams in the NFC. Like that pickup alone has just killed like so much of the optimism. Like, and even if it works out, if Kirk is gone in 2 or 3 years and you put Penix in, he looks all right. Like, yeah, you hit on the quarterback, but you wasted pretty much the most important part of drafting a quarterback, which is getting good quarterback play like cheap so you can maximize the rest of your roster. Like there's value in a quarterback playing early now in the NFL, like knowing if you have that guy or not, because they're probably going to go into year 3 or 4 and have no idea if Penix can play, which to me is wild. Like I think there's more value in just going in, win now, try to maximize a short window, and then figure it out later. What's the worst case scenario? They're the Denver Broncos and go like 2 seasons without knowing a quarterback. They just did that. Like it's not the worst thing. Like there are other avenues to finding a quarterback than what they did.
And honestly, like the more I think about it, the less I care about the age itself with Penix. It's more just like, because Matt Ryan, he was a 24-year-old quarterback, but he did play. But if we're talking about Penix being like, he's starting his first season at age like 26 or 27, whatever. I don't know. It's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. It's just more like we've never really seen a 6-year college starter. He started 6 seasons.
It didn't worry anybody that like his receivers and offensive linemen were like going like the top 75. Like he had 2 offensive tackles drafted in the first 2 rounds, 2 receivers drafted in the top 40. Like he clearly had some dudes around.
Oh yeah. Then they even drafted Braylon Trice, the edge rusher, round 3 or round 4. It was round 3. The Falcons did. Like that was a pretty loaded team. And one thing that blew me away about the draft is Penix was the first Washington player drafted. I was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even think about
that. Doesn't seem right. When I was watching Romo Dune's tape and Fatani tape, it doesn't seem exactly right to me. But hey, maybe in in the year 2026, we'll have our answer.
So here's my question: Arthur Smith, Jesus Christ, Arthur Smith. My God, I had a PTSD moment.
It's the same thing.
Arthur Blank, he had to like okay this, obviously. So like, does that mean like Terry like has like can see this whole thing through? Like he could be GM for like next 4 or 5 years while they figure out this actually works, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was feeling fine about I was feeling fine about that last year. Now I'm like, ugh, I don't know. This is a little weird. Where you did. The worst part about this to me is that they keep saying it's like Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love or Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. Like, no, it's not, because those things didn't happen in the same offseason. Like, they didn't draft Aaron Rodgers and get Jordan Love in the same offseason, or they didn't sign Alex Smith and draft Patrick Mahomes in the same offseason. You have to stagger it a little bit. Like, now you just have these contracts starting at the same exact time. For what?
They messed up one of the two moves, right? I don't know. I feel like either one of those two moves is going to age bad. So I'm just like, why are you like fighting against yourself basically when it comes like the odds of what's working out?
Like, if I was them, I would have traded down from 8, let the Raiders go get Penix like they wanted to, and then like draft like Quinion Mitchell at 13, or even at 13, like you still have every single defensive player is on the board.
What would you have done if, I think it was like Stephen Weish with NFL Network reported it, that they wanted to move back into the first for Latu? What would you have done if that would have been like a significant?
Dude, no, not move back into the first. They tried to move up to 10. They tried to move back up from 43 to 10. Like, dude, what are you guys doing? When I said that was actually, I will say that was the moment when I hit the full panic button, when I was like, you guys, because to move up from 43 to 10, you have to give up like everything from next year.
You already knew like about the scenario, and still your eyes are like getting big. You're like speaking about it. It's like pep talking. It's man, I wish that would have happened.
Because to get up that high, you obviously have to trade next year's first. You might have to trade 3 firsts.
Yeah,
or at least 2 more.
Especially like to the like Jets specifically, pick at 10. Like they especially want somebody like, I know Fashad, might not play like early on, but they're not going to be like, yeah, we're okay with our first pick being in the second round. Like, no, they're trying to get something around Aaron Rodgers.
Right. And even think about think about how much it costs for like the Panthers to move up from 9 to 1. You want to move from 43 to 10 to pick Latu? Like, we have lost the plot. We have really lost the plot here.
And like,
so I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm really glad they didn't.
And like, Latu's cool and all, but he's not like a sell the farm like to take him kind of guy, right?
Yeah, if it was like Von Miller, okay, I get it. I get that. But no, Terry, stop. Like, I would love to know, like, because if you're Joe Douglas, right, and you get on the phone with Terry Fontenot and he says, hey, we want to come up from 43. We'll throw you a 25 and a 26 first and a 25 second. You have to consider it.
No, 100%.
You have to consider it, but no.
Yeah, no. It's wild how like one draft pick wow, so many like positive feelings and expectations. I hope you know at least though that when anything Falcons related happens, first person I think of. Literally, like, I'm supposed to be working. I go to my phone, right to tweet it.
So when the Penix pick came, I was like, oh no, it's like, dude, my Twitter account is going to be a mess. Like, and I clicked over to my notifications, and it flooded just a wall of haha, are you okay? Blah 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 blah. Thoughts. So it was like thoughts. I can't tweet what I think about this. Kidding me?
We know too much about teams like draft plans now, right? There are too many. Like, we hear about things they wanted to do, could have done, where it's just like, oh, that is terrible. Why would you let somebody in the media know about it?
Right. Or like the way a team should be using it is like as a, a test. We have an idea that might be stupid, but we don't exactly know how everyone will feel about it. Let's leak it to some reporter and get, test the waters on this idea that we're having. That's how you should use it.
No, 100%.
But like, when it came out that the Falcons were interested in Penix and Schefter was like, they might consider taking him at 8. Like, they should have checked like the replies and be like, whoa. Because nobody was saying that that's a good idea.
They seemed like kind of surprised that people hated it, right?
Yes. Like they were actually shocked that people were not on board for this. Like I really think that they were surprised by the blowback they got.
Yeah,
for making
they thought
play.
everybody would see like a cool, young quarterback prospect and be hype about the next however so many years. But no, just pure outrage. It was one of the wildest like draft moments I think I've at least like watched live. It'll be all right. It won't be, but I guess
no, it won't be. It probably won't be, but that's all right too.